Not just enjoying talking today. All right, I'm on something a little serious, so I gotta you know what I mean? I gotta cut back some facilities in here so I can magnify myself with my spotlight. I got. Let's do that. Ooh, 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 ooh. It'd be better if I had some soda, right? That look like some type of karate stuff, right? I like it. Fat looking girl. So, all right, let me put a program on, you know what I mean, indicative of what I'm speaking about so I can locate, you know, some inspiring type of nah man. Slow. Viral. I got time to tell you some nasty shit. There was this one lady over there in Israel. She did some shit so wicked, it just like, you know, it made me like fantasize sexually about her. She did some crazy shit, and it's just, oh man. Oh man, it's just, yeah, man, she just was doing something. I'll show her to you one day. I'll get a picture of her. I'll get her up here now and shit. She did some shit so wicked, I gotta punish her and shit. Oh man, so I'm gonna get her later on. You know, I see it somewhere. I haven't run down on her, see if that shit still do it for me. Viral, viral Israeli TikTok. Here we go, we down here. I'm gonna start hearing shit. She probably in there. I'm just let him run. So nah man, I just, you know what I mean, I wanted to break into a facet, a reality, you know what I mean, that apprehends, you know what I mean, my communicatability. It's just, it's almost like, I'm gonna say I just came about it. America and Israel are using the hostages as as a as a bridge to kill human beings in Palestine. They got these old ass, dead ass hostages already. They dead. They not even alive. They like find out they dead. They only got senior citizens and shit. It's not the senior citizens' fault. So what I'm saying is, it's like, you know what I mean. It's like, you know, it's obvious, and I feel as though the type of war crimes that the instigators and the influencers involved with this, propaganda isn't even used anymore in America. You know what I'm saying? And Israel brought propaganda out after propaganda has pretty much been dead since like 2015 or 14. People motivate realistic agendas right in front of your eyes now. So they used it, and Biden's administration is providing the weapons that are killing the kids over in Palestine. So it's like an insult to humanity that they got what they got like 50 like 30 hostages, and they killed almost 30,000 people. So they're like, and then Biden gets up. He says this today. He says, we still have to get all the hostages back. Who's going to get the people who died back? They live like around the corner from each other. What makes, two American hostages, life mean more than 30,000 Palestinian people or people in that region? And when it comes out to is they are bartering, it's like a pervert use a lollipop to get close to kids, and then he snatch them up and grab them in his car. They're using America and Israel are using the hostages to get close to kids, and they're murdering them. And they did that all before 2024, and this shit just happened with a concert. October the 7th in Israel. So they spun that out into a war, and the people are complaining about this guy they call Benjamin Netanyahu, something like that. And he's not the president. And that's a purpose to advantage the president of Israel with some type of immunity. He the problem. Or Biden the problem. He running around with Hunter Biden, acting like, he got to fight Iran. He killing children. He killing more kids than they said Saddam Hussein killed. Killing more civilians than Saddam Hussein killed. That's what Biden is. So you can't get over the reality. Arms dealers aren't really respected everywhere because they selling something that killed people. If Biden didn't give Israel weapons, they wouldn't have been able to kill as many people. If Biden didn't give Turkey as many, if Biden didn't give the Ukraine as many weapons as it is, they wouldn't have been able to kill as many Russians. The bottom line is that where America has last off, they evacuated Afghanistan and whatnot like that. They representing themselves with weapons, and I think it's just as realistic as if it was that an American soldier was there shooting people. But in a 3-month span, for 10,000 people to be executed every day, they might as well have said in Israel after the concert, we're going to kill 10,000 people every month until you give us all our hostages back. What happens is they're killing people who are not hostages, which means they're killing people who are not terrorists, which means they don't know what the terrorists look like. I heard an estimate. They said they feel as though there's 30,000 Hamas soldiers, in or about Palestine or Gaza. And they killed 30,000 people because they want to kill everybody. And that's their tactic. They're killing everybody who walks. They killed 3 of their own hostages yesterday. 3 of their people yesterday. They killing people who in the city after they evacuated. And then after the people that live there get evacuated to a refugee camp, then the leadership and the president of Israel, they bombed the refugee camp where all the people at. So really is really an inhumane slaughter, and it's being contained inside of the search for hostages who are already dead. They're not alive, they're dead. Hamas at this point in time, they're not gonna give you back dead people. You're not gonna get nobody who alive. They killing hostages. The Israel army, they call them the IDF because they don't want to be fucking humiliated because they not a real army. The IDF, like they the IRA, like they the KGB. It's the IDF. Don't do that. That acronym shit. They supposed to be some fucking army, right? The IDF. They want to be like a terrorist group. The IDF. What the fuck is the IDF? Nasty ass people, man. So all the hostages are dead, and they only use them. And the thing is, they hide the identity of them. And it's just a couple old ass fucking people who live in Israel like the rest of them from Europe and shit. They make it they sensationalize it, and they say they have 4 American hostages. They look just like the other ones and shit. And they said they lived in Canada, they lived in Israel, and they lived in, you know what I mean? They monument about their nationality or the places they live, so they can nominalize the people who live in that region and kill them. You know? And that's where it's at. And the fact that there mass the media and stuff to go on, they continue. It's a war. It's a war. It's a war. It's a war. They let the leaders in that place around Israel. They let them really they destroyed them people fucking property. They destroyed their food. They destroyed their savings. They destroyed their homes. They destroyed their cars. They should have to pay for that. If Hamas is some people from Egypt, some people from the Gaza Strip had went into a city in Israel, or a town in Israel where McDonald's is at. You know, the McDonald's that gives free food to. If they went into Israel, some people from Egypt to Palestine, they went into the biggest bank. You know, they killed everybody in it. You know what I mean? And they took all the money out, and then they brought it back to where they lived. You know what happened? They would be sought out by law enforcement, and they would have to go to jail and pay for that. They would have to, that money would have to be returned back. So what it is like a couple people got killed. You know what I mean? In Israel, and it's intense because Afghanistan has been abandoned. So a couple people got killed in Israel, and they didn't get no permission from nobody. They got weapons from America, and they just went in there and they destroyed everything they knew, everything they had, everywhere they lived, all the food they have. That's not military, and they talking about bringing seawater, you know, so they could flood out their town. That could create something that could actually erode the stone structures underneath the city, the town. And they went in there and they killing. And it's like they don't know what the target looks like. They don't know what a person, they don't see nobody in fatigues. Every time you see them over there in Israel, what they're gonna be doing is they're gonna be shooting at windows in their houses that nobody live in. Nobody there. They don't shoot no people. They may get to and shoot people. The strikes that they have, they call them in a style that, like, you see Forrest Gump and the part where Forrest Gump his lieutenant or something like that, Lieutenant Dave and Bubba, when they die and stuff like that, it's like you calling the jets and the jets bomb. So what happens is the soldiers get in there, they get close to there, they got their guns, and they mark and they get positions. They find out where the people are at, and then the people in Israel send missiles to that exact location. What I can't say is how is it that you can find out where the people are, and why do you? How can you find out? How can you tell the people where to go to evacuate, and then after they get there, you actually bomb that place? It seems like that Nazi shit, like that gas chamber shit, like they using that, like they really executing people real gruesomely. And the thing is, they're not doing nothing nowhere else. They talking about fighting people. Of course, other people want to throw weapons and throw bombs at you. You slaughtering the community. It's like they walked into a family bedroom and they killing everybody in the family, and they not leaving the bedroom. People like, what you fucking doing in their house so long? You know what I mean? And that's Israel government. They slaughtering them. That's all that's happening. And Joe Biden, his son in jail. Joe Biden gonna fuck around. He really gonna have to go to jail for his support of Israel and his giving them weapons. You know, what I mean, that led to the slaughter of those type people. I say those type people because they pretty much held their own. You know, what I mean, be basically living in Jerusalem with people in Israel who also live in Jerusalem. I mean, am I correct? So it's like they held their own for a long time. They weren't in conflict like Somalia. You know what I mean? They weren't subject to a class distinction in a place like India or maybe like, in like Ethiopia. It's just some like they weren't. So it's like they weren't standing with their hands out for the past, you know what I mean, 160 years or something like that. They pretty much were self-contained with regards to their priorities and the personage of their actual, authority, action potentials, and and fundamental realities that they had that supported their land and their people. So it wasn't a conflictual environment. They exploiting their environment and they turn it into a cash cow for foreign interests just by taking everything from them, starting with the hospitals. So it's like those people show white skin. You know, they're trying to present as as some type of Anglo Saxons or Caucasians, and in many different cases, they're really not that type of Caucasian. You got Italians and then you got Anglo Saxons. I don't think Italians are Anglo Saxons. Australians are Anglo Saxons. English people are. Americans are. I'm not even sure about German. But they trying to pass off as all of them and shit. Like they live in Europe and they don't live in Europe and shit. So, they show a couple white faces. It's this guy, Benjamin Netanyahu, whatever. He has a white face and they flossing their white faces and they acting like they George Washington and everybody executing some type of subhuman race, and they corny as hell.